Is Jesus really biting from Horus? Yeah, what's going on, party people? The place to be. I go by the name of the BK Podcast, transmitting all the way live. New York is the city, Brooklyn is the borough. What's good? What's popping? It is Thursday. I'm glad everybody's here. And speaking of everybody, let me see what's going on in the chat. We got Mr. Green on the check-in. We got Adrian Jones. We got Tyler Lott. We got D Proverbs in the building. You know what I mean? And as always, please like, share, and subscribe. Please share the link. Tell a friend to tell a friend that's him again. Also, if you'd like to support the ministry that you're seeing before you, you can support by donating to PayPal, which is pinned at the top of the chat. Or if you'd like to be a monthly subscriber, you could become a patron, where you get all sorts of assorted goodies for your intellectual edification. So, with that being said, and we got Chris Gibson. We also got Decala Apologetics. What up? What's good? You know what I mean? So tonight, we will be discussing something that's been discussed quite a bit over the years, right? And just give me a minute here. Just give me a second here. And what we'll be discussing today is just the allegation, the alleged allegation that Jesus is plagiarized from Horus. This recent accusation has come up recently with discussions between Adam Coleman and Shaka Atmos. If you've been watching how that has been unfolding. So the charge was somehow Adam, and via Adam, the whole UA community is somehow scared to have this discussion about Horus, right? And Adam was very clear. Not only was he clear in that discussion, he was also clear when we did a review of the discussion where he actually played video clearly showing that he is not scared to have this debate, right? And it was really about, what do you have? What are you going to stand on? Because as Christians, we know what we're standing on. What are you going to stand on, right? But it's not just him, but just the whole conscious community as a whole, likes to make this accusation that Jesus is somehow connected through Horus, that he comes from Horus. It's a plagiarized concept. He is biting from Horus, and those of us who are a little bit younger might not understand that phrase, but we're going to get into that among other things tonight. So, with that being said, right, is Jesus biting from Horus? What did the Proverbs say about this? He said, "You got Horus on screen looking like a Kemet version of Scorpion as an unlockable character, looking like he's about to whip out a wand right now." Yeah, I thought it was really a cool picture of him. Obviously that's not how he's depicted in Ancient Kemet. I thought it was pretty cool. All right, so let's get to it. So biting, what do I mean by biting? Urban Dictionary, right? Biting means copying another rap artist's lyrics in a plagiaristic form. This is often done while rapping, quote unquote, freestyle, right? So biting is taking someone's style, someone's image, If you're wearing the blue and white Pumas, right, I can't rock the blue and white Pumas. I gotta rock another color, because if I rock the same color that you're rocking, I'm biting. I'm copying from you, right? And the charge that's levied against Christianity is that Jesus is biting from Horus, right? And this accusation has been permeated throughout the discourse of decades now, right? And you find this accusation in books such as Christ in Egypt, The Horus Jesus Connection by Akaria S. That name should be familiar if you ever watched the Zeitgeist documentary. You got Tom Harpur, the pagan Christ. You'll see this connection being mentioned in this book here. And Gerald Massey, Ancient Egypt, Light of the World, volumes 1 and 2. So anytime you see people reference these books, you already know what's coming. You know that they're going to make this connection, this alleged connection with Jesus and Horus, right? So, I can't forget Alvin Boyd Kuhn, The Lost Light, an interpretation of ancient scriptures, right? So that's some of the literature that you will find people will be quoting when they want to prove to you that there is a direct linkage between Jesus and Horus. Okay. So now let's look at some information about Horus, right? And now we're going to look at the Encyclopedia of Religion, right, by Marcia Elaide. So let's see what they say about Horus. In ancient Egypt, there were originally several gods known by the name Horus. Off rip, there's a problem here, right? So when they make this accusation that Jesus is from Horus, we now have to ask the question, well, which one? Which Horus? So let's continue reading to find out about these different Horuses. But the best known and most important from the beginning of the historic period was the son of Osiris and Isis, who was identified with the king of Egypt. According to myth, Osiris, who assumed the rulership of the earth shortly after its creation, was slain by his jealous brother Seth, the sister wife of Osiris. Isis, who collected the pieces of dismembered husband and revived him, also conceived his son and avenger, Horus. Horus fought with Seth, and despite the loss of one eye in the contest, was successful in avenging the death of his father and in becoming his legitimate successor. Osiris then became king of the dead and Horus king of the living. This transfer being renewed at every change of earthly rule. So this event wasn't a one-time thing. This happened every time there was a new pharaoh, right? Which makes things very interesting. It's like, so this event, this birth of Horus, avenging his dad, killing Seth, Cyrus being the king of the dead, Osiris being king of the living. This happened every time there was a transference of power. So right off rip, this is already being problematic. Okay. All right. In the Handbook of Egyptian Mythology by Geraldine Pinch, you have the vengeful Horus was one of the gods who perpetually tortured the evil dead. Then you got Horus the Elder, who said to have one green eye and a lesser white eye. Green was sometimes equivalent to red in Egyptian symbolism, so this was the solar eye. The white or silver eye was the moon. The red and white crowns of Egyptian kings could be equated with the solar and lunar eyes. From the Old Kingdom onward, pairs of, I think it's Ouija eyes were painted on coffins for the deceased to look out through. The glare of these celestial eyes also had apotropaic force to protect the deceased. The aggressor was usually named as Seth, and the attack put the whole cosmos in danger. Horus was sometimes said to have rescued his own eye, but the idea that it was restored by another deity was more common. The whole or completed eye was known as the Wijat or Ujat. The Wijat eye could represent almost any aspect of the divine order, including kingship and the offerings made to the gods and the dead. It also became one of the most popular of all Egyptian amulets. And we've all seen the eye, right? We've seen people rock it in their clothing, their medallions. Very popular thing, right? This symbol here, the Horus eye, right? Hold on. Okay. The Horus eye combines a human eye and eyebrow with some of the facial markings of a falcon. Such eyes are used for the animal forms of various deities associated with the sky. When Horus was imagined as a celestial falcon, just like Jesus, right? Jesus was also imagined as, no, he's not. He's not. His right eye was the sun and his left eye was the moon. In ancient Egyptian, the word for eye is a feminine noun. So the eyes of male deities could be personified as goddesses. The temporary loss or mutilation of one or both of the eyes of Horus was a common theme in Egyptian myth. Now we're going to go to the Dictionary of Deities and Demons in the Bible, second edition by Carl van der Toon, Bob Beckling, Pieter W. van der Hulst. Right? And they say here, A and B have some characteristics in common so that amalgamations became understandable, right? The mixtures. They are both confronted with Seth as an antagonist, fighting with his rival. A wound was held in his eye. One second. A was wounded in the eye, the source of light. Assignment of a territory to each of them ended the struggle. The eye was made, quote unquote, healthy again. A later version of this myth looks upon Seth not as an equal opponent, but as a criminal. Takes Seth, his uncle, for an evil god from the beginning because he murdered Osiris. So this event changes throughout time. It's never the same event. And this event always occurs when there's a transference of power to a new Nesut, to a new pharaoh. So it's not even the same story. It constantly changes depending on which kingdom we're talking about, right? The later conflict resulted in the villain's condemnation. A is a royal deity right from the start of Egyptian history. He protects the earthly ruler who is identified with him, taking over office with Osiris. B is the predecessor of the pharaohs. He also looks after the deceased king. The august sky god was he of Edfu, where he enjoyed his main cult. Influence from Heliopolis, the solar-centric. During the Old Kingdom, Horus of the horizon, syncretized with the sun god Re, he became Re Horikiti, right? Two are very prominent among the Horuses. You got the sky god and the son of Osiris and Isis. A is also called Horus the Elder, or Horus the Eldest, or Horus the son of Isis, and Horus the child. A is depicted as falcon or falcon-headed human, distant one. Possibly the right translation of his name is a suitable description of the high-flying bird of prey. B is a boy reared and sheltered by his mother. As a young man, he becomes Osiris, vindicator and successor to the throne. He is the prototype of the beloved son who takes care of his father after his death. Hippocrates was very popular in the Greco-Roman period. One second. Okie dokie. Let me see anybody here. All right, cool. The myth of divine kingship probably elevated the position of the god as much as it did that of the king. In the fourth dynasty, the king, the living god, may have been one of the greatest gods as well, but by the fifth dynasty, the supremacy of the cult of Re, the sun god, was accepted even by the kings. The Horus king was now also son of Re. You see how he keeps changing? He keeps he keeps becoming something else, right? Depending on what part and what age we're talking about in Egypt. This was made possible by personifying the entire older genealogy of Horus, the Heliopolitan Ened, as the goddess Hathor, house of Horus, who's also the spouse of Re and mother of Horus. Horus was usually represented as a falcon, and one view of him was as a great sky god whose outstretched wings filled the heavens. His sound eye was the sun, and his injured eye, the moon. Another portrayal of him, particularly popular in late period, was as a human child suckling at the breast of his mother, Isis. Right? This is the photo they usually show, and then they'll show, Mary and baby Jesus and be like, you see? We got you, right? The two principal cult centers for the worship of Horus were at Bekdet in the north, where very little survives, and Idfu in the south, which has a very large and well-preserved temple dating from the Ptolemaic period. The earlier myths involving Horus, as well as the ritual performed there, are recorded in Idfu. So, even though they talked about several, the ones that were mentioned here thus far in this presentation is the vengeful Horus, Horus the Elder, Horus of the Horizon, Horus the Child, right? So which Horus is it? Now, to still man their argument, to make the argument stronger, the best iteration they can have of Jesus and Horus, right? Because again, the accusation is Jesus is a ripoff of Horus, right? Well, actually, before we do that, we have a special guest that just came into the building. Man, we got my man.
What up?
For Jesus is
what up?
The building. What's going on, sir?
Man, you know I had to stop through, man. Big bro gave me the call. Like, hold on, let me switch up the program real quick and pop on through. What's up, man?
Chill. We're about to smoke on that Horus pack.
Man, let's get him out of here, bro.
We're trying to. So basically, what we just did, just to put you on speed here.
Yeah.
When they say that Jesus is a ripoff of Horus, what we have to ask them is, well, which one? Which one, right? There's several, right? But the ones I just talked about was vengeful Horus, Horus the Elder, Horus of the Horizon, or Horus the Child. Now, I'm going to look out for them, and I'm going to tell them the best one to pick would be Horus the Child. Right? If we're going to make this argument, if you're going to make this accusation stick, your best bet is Horus the Child. Here's the problem with that, though. Which Horus the Child?
Oh.
Because here in Child Deities by Dagmar Bundy from the UCLA Encyclopedia of Egyptology, prominent in temple cult and private devotion before the third intermediate period, the first developments in their theology can be observed at Thebes, where Kohun in particular, but also child forms of Horus, such as Horus Pa-Kered and Hapara Pa-Kered, were worshipped as sons of Amun. Apart from Ha-Pa-Kered's, Eni, Kun's, Heka, and Hepara, the following child deities are known: Ha-Somotus, Horus Uja, Horus Hekanu, Horus Shu, Ra, Kalenetes, Neferhotep, Semenefer, Peneboti, Medulis, and Tutu. So you have Horus Uja, Horus Hekanu, Horus Shu. So not only are there several deities throughout the kingdoms of Kemet that were known as Horus, your best version of Horus still has multiple forms of it. Okay.
Wow.
So, yeah, I mean, which one, fam?
Right.
Which one? So now that we got that underway, right?
Right.
So we're gonna look at the connections that people like to make, right? They want to say that the virgin birth comes from Horus.
Geez.
The death and resurrection comes from Horus. So let's look at those claims and let's see what the primary sources in Kemet say about these things.
Yeah, let's get them out of here.
All right. Anything you want to say real quick before we get into it?
Man, bro, how you pronounced all those Horuses?
Oh, I butchered most of that. Don't be impressed. Don't
be impressed.
Don't be impressed.
Say less. Let's go.
Okay. All right. So basically what we have, right, is a Frankenstein Heru. Right? We have a patchwork of Horuses.
Right.
Right? So it's alive, right? So let's flesh out their argument for them. So what they basically would have to tell us is that the Hebrew writers, both Pentateuch, Tanakh, and New Testament writers, went into the archives of ancient Kemet, looked at the various forms of Heru, right? Heru the Elder, Heru the Horizon,
right?
Senefu, Orija.
Come on.
All these, right? And they picked the parts they liked.
The one
they created they piecemeal together a patchwork Heru.
Right.
Right? So that's what you're saying. You're saying that the Hebrew writers went and did this.
They went, man. Look, bro. Yeah.
Right? They created this patchwork of Heru, and they called that patchwork, that Frankenstein monster, they called that guy Jesus. That's what you're gonna have to tell me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's funny. He says Marvel Comics has more continuity and consistency than horror. Mad variance, bro.
Mad variance.
Where's the TVA? Where's the TVA? You know what I mean? Controlling the circuit timeline. It's like, what's going on?
Right.
There needs to be some pruning going on here. You know what I mean? It's like it's crazy. But anyway, let's get in. Let's get into it. So the virgin birth, right? Okay. Primary source time.
Let's do it.
You see it, right? It's a stela. It's written in stone because they always say, hey, it's written in the stones in Kemet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Great.
It's
hymn, you know what I mean?
It's in the stone.
It's in the stone. You can't say nothing. It's in the stone. This hymn to Osiris is preserved in a Chalcedonian stela dedicated by Menes, who lived sometime during the first half of the 18th dynasty. You can find this in Ancient Egypt Facts and Fictions by Stephen E. Thompson.
Right.
All right. So we're going to look now at what the inscription actually says. This is the translation of the stela that we just saw. Okay. So let's read. Actually, you know what, Ninja?
Yeah.
You have the honors. Please read this.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Isis, the effective, the protector of her brother, who looked for him without ceasing, who traveled this land in mourning. She would not rest before she found him. She made a shadow with her feathers, creating a breeze with her wings, offering praise when her brother moored. She is the one who lifted up the lethargy of the weary-hearted, who received his semen. Which
what? Wait.
Yeah.
Receive what?
Yeah.
Receive what?
She received.
Received what? What did she receive?
She received his semen.
Okay, continue.
Yeah, who received his semen, which created the air, who suckled the child in solitude. His location was unknown, who revealed him in the court of Geb when he had grown strong. The Ened rejoices. Welcome, Osiris's son, Horus, stout-hearted, true of voice, son of Isis, heir of Osiris. Ancient Egypt, Facts, Fictions, Stephen E. Thompson.
And this is when we need Dinu, right? Because Dinu knows her biology. But I think even us laymen can figure out that if a woman receives semen, right? To the people in the chat, if a woman receives semen, is she still considered a virgin? And I'm not talking about modern technology where you could artificial inseminate. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about good old-fashioned intimacy, right? If a woman receives semen, is she still a virgin? Okay, this is it's on their stela. This is their translation. This is what's being translated from that stela. This is what is being said.
She received.
Right?
Yeah.
But not only there, we have another primary source. The coffin text, spell 148, right? The conception of Horus. These texts are intended to provide for the successful transition to the afterlife of a deceased Egyptian. The purpose of this text is stated in the title, to allow the deceased to become a falcon. The Egyptians believed that the dead could transform themselves into any number of forms necessary to escape enemies in the afterworld and ascend to the world of the gods. In this text, the transformation is accomplished by recounting the details surrounding the conception and birth of the falcon god Horus. So here's the translation, sir, if you could do the honors.
Word. Ho, gods, I am Isis, the sister of Osiris, who wept on account of the father of the gods, Osiris, who parted the slaughter of the two lands. His semen is inside my body.
All right, hold up. What is in her body?
Oh, his semen.
Right. And who's saying this?
She is saying this.
Isis is saying this. Isis is saying this. Yeah. Continue, please.
I have knitted the form of a god in the egg as my son, foremost of the Ened, who will rule this land, who will inherit from Geb, who will speak for his father, who will slay Set, the enemy of his father Osiris. Come, O gods, may you provide his protection within my uterus. Know in your hearts that this God who was in his egg is your Lord, the blue-haired one, the form of the Lord of the gods who are great and beautiful, adorned with two plums of lapis lazuli. Ancient Egypt, Facts and Fiction, Stephen E. Thomas.
All right. This is from Coffin Text.
Coffin Text.
We showed you two primaries, the Coffin Text, and we showed you the Stele. Right? Yeah. We're not even talking about, what other experts say. We're actually giving you the translation.
Right.
So one more time, ladies and gentlemen, if she's receiving semen from Osiris, who's dead, by the way.
Yeah.
She has to magically revive him with creating a golden phallus, right?
Yeah.
And by doing so, was able to somehow receive semen from this golden phallus so that she can conceive Horus. Now, does that sound just like the virgin birth? Does that sound like a virgin birth to you?
No, it sounds like something else going on.
Yeah, it's
it sounds like something else.
Don't sound nothing like Jesus. It's a no for me. It's a no for me too, sis.
It's a no for me.
It's a big no for me.
It's a big no for me, dog.
All right. This is another part of the spell of the Coffin Text. Sir, if you could be so kind.
Yeah. After the blast of a meteorite, such that even the gods fear, Isis awoke, pregnant by the seed of her brother, Osiris.
Pregnant by the what?
The seed.
The seed
of her brother, Osiris. They like to keep it in the bloodline anyway over there.
Sure.
It was just a thing for them anyway.
Well, just the royalty, not the common folk.
No, yeah, the royalty, not the commons. The royalty got down like that, but it is what it is. Thus the woman raised herself abruptly, her heart pleased with the seed of her brother.
With the what?
The seed of her brother. Yeah.
So this is another part, and this is another person's translation. So I'm giving you multiple scholars' translation of this spell. And they're both saying she got semen and or seed, which is just a euphemism for semen.
Right.
So again, no virgin birth, guys. Don't take my word for it. Listen to what Isis says.
Right. This is her. She's saying we kept it in the family.
You know what I mean? So it says here, as for Horus, who also had no virgin birth, Isis had sex with Osiris. After reassembling his body parts, which were torn apart and scattered over Egypt, as Egyptologist and professor at the University of Arizona, Dr. Richard Wilkinson has written, quote, through her magic, Isis revivified the sexual member of Osiris and became pregnant by him, eventually giving birth to their child Horus. So Osiris got killed, body parts scattered, had to find the body parts, couldn't find his penis. She made one for him via magic, made it work, and received semen from him in her uterus, the birth of Horus. Just like the virgin birth, right, guys? Just like it.
Oh, I love the hyperbole.
No. Historian Professor Francois Dennett writes, after having sexual intercourse in the form of a bird, the dead god she restored to life, she gave birth to a posthumous son, Horus. So it wasn't just Isis. Isis in the form of a bird.
Bird, big anamorph energy.
Received the semen of a golden phallus of a dead god. It's getting harder and harder to see any connection between the virgin birth in the Bible and Horus. Right?
They brought this on themselves.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yeah,
get
okay. Before we
go ahead.
She couldn't find his private member.
No.
She created a private member for him.
Right.
We don't even know if we need to call Murray, because we don't even know if Osiris really is the father.
It could be some scandal. It could be a scandal. I don't know.
How did you? I mean, I'm just saying, because all of the seed.
Listen, this is what she said. They agreed. She said no, it's from Osiris, and everybody said cool.
Cool. That's what she said. It's one of those. That's what she said.
That's what she said.
She said. But we might call Murray on this one in the future, because I don't even know if Osiris is really Horus's father. I don't know, man.
Now watch this. The world is mine. Free says they didn't have sex. It's an allegory. That actually even strengthens our argument that much more, because when we say Jesus was born from a virgin, we're not saying it's allegory. We're saying that it's a historical fact. So if you're saying this is an allegory, thank you. This actually strengthens what we're saying.
Right.
So
appreciate it.
So anyway, let's continue. So we're gonna talk about, right? Horus died and rose, right?
Let's make it happen.
All right. Primary source. This text comes from an object known as the Sippus, which was intended to provide protection for Egyptians from snakes, scorpions, crocodiles, and any dangerous animals, and to provide relief to those who were stung or bitten by snakes or scorpions. A Sippus depicted the god Horus as a nude child standing on the backs of crocodiles and clutching the dangerous animals in each hand. In order to benefit from the healing power of the text, a person had to either touch the stela or drink water that had been poured over the hieroglyphic text. Sippai could be set up in basins designed to catch the water poured over them. Now, on a separate point, how's this high science? How is this quantum physics? I'm going to pour water over these hieroglyphic etchings, capture that water in the basin. I'm going to drink it, and it's going to heal me from a sting of a scorpion. How's that? You know what I mean? But that's a whole different, conversation. Anyway, so here's a translation from the Stella. Sir, if you could be so kind.
All right. A woman came to me, famous in her town, a noble lady, foremost in her district. She came to me carrying life. Her heart was confident on account of her skill. She said, fear not, child Horus. Don't be downcast. Don't be downcast, mother of a god. The child is safe from the evil of his brother. The bush is hidden. Death cannot enter it. The magic of a tomb, the father of the gods, who is in heaven, is the one who made life. Set cannot enter this district. He cannot travel about within Chemis. Horus is safe from the evil of his brother, and his followers cannot harm him. Seek the course of this poison throughout him, so that Horus may live for his mother. Perhaps a scorpion has stung him, or a greedy snake has bitten him.
All right, continue, please.
Isis placed her nose in his mouth to learn the odor thereof from within his body. She identified the suffering of the divine air. She found him to be under the influence of poison. She embraced him quickly. She jumped around him like fish do when thrown into a frying pan. Horus has been bitten. All right. Your son has been bitten. Horus has been bitten.
Continue.
Minor child howled from word.
Wait. Let me ask you a question. Do dead people often howl? People in the chat, do people who have become dead, their corpses, do they howl? Do they make screaming noises when they're dead?
Big zombie energy.
Right? So he's not dead. But continue, please.
Those around the child were speechless. What's that word, that N-word?
Nepheti, I think.
Nepheti's came to him. Yeah, Nepheti's came to him weeping. Her shriek pervaded the delta marshes. Salix said, "What is it? What is wrong with the child Horus?" Isis called out to heaven so that the crew of Re will stop. The bark of Re will not travel while the child Horus is on his side.
Yeah, you know that boat that Jabari was talking about?
Oh, that boat.
That boat.
Wow. Big boat energy.
Big boat energy. All right. Continue, please.
All right. Isis sent forth her voice to the heaven, her cries to the bark of millions. The sun disk halted in her presence. It did not move from its place. thought arrived, equipped with his magic power, bearing the great command of justification. What is it? What is it? Divine and effective Isis, who knows her spell. There is no harm to your son, Horus. His protection is the bark of Re. Today I have arrived in the divine boat, while the sun disk is in its place of yesterday, while the darkness has come into existence and the light has been driven away until Horus is healed for his mother Isis. I am thought, the eldest, the son of Re, whom Atum, the father of the god, commanded to heal Horus for his mother Isis and to heal sufferer likewise.
So Horus gets stung by either some kind of snake or scorpion.
Right.
He's in massive agony and pain. So much so he's howling.
Boy howling.
And Isis, being a good mother, is frantic. Right? She doesn't want her child to perish. Cries out to the gods. Thoth comes, stops the boat, the bark, the celestial boat.
Yeah.
Stops it, makes a U-turn, comes down. And it's like, listen, you have to spell. Use the spell that you have. So they use magic to heal the child Horus. So he didn't die. Poisoned, in pain, did not die. So if you have no death, do you have a resurrection?
Yeah. It's tight on that.
Right.
Big tight. Real big tight.
You can't verify the Bible with the Bible. Have you seen a Bible verse thus far being used? We are strictly using the literature of ancient Kemet.
Right.
We're allowing the primary source. We're allowing the stela and the coffin text to speak. And they disagree with the idea that Horus is like Jesus. It's not us disagreeing.
No.
They're disagreeing.
Big disagreement.
So again, poisoned by some kind of scorpion or snake, in agony, Isis cries out, uses a magic spell to heal him. And the spell is engraved in that stela. So when you pour water over this stela now, you can receive the same type of magical healing that baby Heru got. Does that sound like the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus?
That's a no for me, dog.
Even if you believe that Jesus is a fairy tale. Okay, let's go with that. Jesus is also a fairy tale, just like baby Horus. Do the fairy tales match? So even if you want to go by that understanding, the fairy tales don't match. The fairy tales don't match. So he wasn't born of a virgin. She received semen. She said it herself. The child, though was poisoned and in agony, did not die. So if he did not die, we don't get a resurrection. All right. Here's another. It says here, Isis hit her son, Horus the child. When she returned, she found him lying dead, foam on his lips. He had been killed by Set in the form of a scorpion.
Oof.
Isis' cries brought out all the neighbors. Finally, on the advice of Nefertiti's, her sister, she appeared before the sun god Ra, descended to earth to comfort her, and taught her the spell to restore Horus to life. Iris uttered the magic words, and the poison flowed from her son's body. The boy was restored. You see what I'm doing here? I'm even giving you another take where they say that he did die. I'm going to give you that. Here's another version. But even with this, right? He dies from a scorpion. She's taught a spell by Thoth. She utters the magic words, and the poison flowed from her son's body, and the boy was restored. So there's one version, one iteration where he doesn't die, receives the spell, healed. Here's this version. He actually does die, receives a spell, and comes back. Is that the death and burial and resurrection of Jesus? So I'm even giving you that. Look at that. In this one, he actually does die. Now what happens? And once again, your statement makes what we're saying that much more stronger.
Right.
Because we do not believe that Jesus' story is an allegory. But you're saying this one is. Cool.
Just keep that same energy.
So even in this version where he actually does die, how does he come back? Magic spell? Venom comes out and he's revived. Does it sound like Jesus whipped beyond human comparison, hung on a tree, died, buried, 3 days, come back? Does it? Where you see that? Where's the connection?
Right.
Even when he does die, how does he die? How does he die? And how does he come back?
Hey.
You know what I mean? So I didn't even have to show you this. I wanted to be super transparent. Here's another version where he actually does die. Look at that. All right, let's keep going.
So look at me, King.
This is Tridge Mettinger, a Swedish scholar and former professor at Lund University, has authored one of the most comprehensive works ever written in the field of dying and rising gods and its relationship to Christianity, called Riddle of Resurrection, Dying and Rising Gods in the Ancient Near East. He concludes his book by the following: there is, as far as I'm aware, no prima facie evidence that the death and resurrection of Jesus is a mythological construct. Drawing on myths and rites of the dying and rising God to the surrounding world while studied with profit against the background of Jewish resurrection belief, the faith in the death and resurrection of Jesus retains its unique character in the history of religions.
Come on.
This is the most prominent person who focused on the concept of dying and rising gods. And this expert saying that there is no evidence that Jesus comes from this tradition, that this is a unique character in the history of religions.
Come on.
And D News here. So D New, real quick, D New, in your expert opinion, knowing biology as you do, in ancient times, once a woman receives semen, is she still considered a virgin? I think I know the answer, but it's always good to check on the people that actually know what they're talking about. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? So, and then he says, this is the ultimate rejoinder that most Christians hear. Do your research.
Right.
As if I didn't do that just now by showing you primary sources. If this is not research, you might not like the research.
Right.
But to say that I have not done research, well, that's being disingenuous.
Right.
You know what I mean? So now let's do some bonus rounds, right?
Big bonus.
So we just destroyed the idea that there is no virgin birth because she received semen.
She received the seed.
And depending on which iteration of the story, either he died from a scorpion and was healed, or he was poisoned by a scorpion, was in agony, and was healed. Right? Either way, it's not the death, burial, and resurrection.
Nothing to do with canonine tails and crosses and tombs.
We don't see none of that.
None of that.
In those primary sources.
I don't see this.
Right? So Gerald Massey, people that love to quote this guy, which is always kills me, right, Ninja, because they always say that we use the white man's right knowledge or whatever, right? But they always quote this guy. This guy is lily white.
This guy, really, the whole beard.
Whitey white. You know what I mean? So he says that the Karas is literally the god or person who has been mummified, embalmed, and anointed or crucified or Christified. There's no other origin for Christ the anointed than Horus the Karas, or anointed son of God the Father. There is no other origin for Messiah as the anointed than for the masu or anointing from ancient Egypt, 1907. Gunter Rota, in his book, Egyptian Hieroglyphic Grammar, says that Chris simply translates to burial. It's not anointed. It's not Christ. Right? They try to do this, the parallelomania, right? Christ, Chris. It kind of looks and sounds similar. So it must be. No. Chris simply means burial.
Sorry.
Here's a popular one that we hear, right? Horus was baptized by Anub, or Anubis, the baptizer, right?
The baptizer.
All right.
Lord.
But in the dictionary of Egyptian god and goddesses, Anubis did embalm the dead, but this is not baptism. He was, quote, canine god of cemeteries and embalming. His most usual form is that of a crouching desert dog. In the Pyramid era, Anubis is closely allied to the monarch, who is described as having Atum's body, but the face of Anubis. Just like John the Baptist, right? Wow. He's just like that guy.
Big dog face.
Just like John the Baptist.
Not the Baptist. Wow.
So let me try to still man this point for them, right? What they can say is, well, the Greek word for baptism is baptizo, which means to be fully immersed. And maybe, when you embalm someone, they're fully immersed within the embalming, perhaps, because they're being anointed of all these different aloes and different secret sauces that they put on the body, then they wrap it in the bandage, so he's kind of being immersed.
Right. Big
Sauce.
sauce.
But that's not what we see in the Bible. We don't see John the Baptist wrapping people up by the lakeside.
No.
Right? He's immersing people in actual water.
Right.
There is no text that says that Anubis baptizes people in water. He's, again, the canine god of cemeteries and embalming.
Yeah.
So even with my still manning, it's a super reach.
Big reach.
Super reach. It's super rich.
Hey, super rich. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
It's super reachy, what I just did.
Yeah.
And that's me still manning their argument.
Right. For them.
Right. So we see that throughout ancient Kemet, there are multiple iterations, variants of the god Horus.
Right.
The best iteration to make the argument would be the child Horus.
Right.
Problem with that is there's multiple variants of the child Horus.
Yeah.
Right. And then the concept of virgin birth, well, that's done because Isis said herself that she received semen.
Cooked.
No longer, so she's not a virgin.
Nah.
Well, did he die? Well, in one version he does, but he dies from a scorpion bite and is healed by magic. Another iteration of the story, he's poisoned by a scorpion or a snake, doesn't die, but is in agony, but he's healed by magic.
Yeah.
So you still don't have death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus.
I don't see it, dog.
There's no virgin birth.
No.
There's no death on the cross.
No.
There's no burial, and there's no resurrection. But yet somehow Jesus comes from Horus.
Yeah.
It's a reach. It's super reachy.
Big reach. It's a reach. Yeah, it's big reach. Like Fantastic Four reach.
Yeah, this is Reed Richards. Right. This is Reed Richards reaching.
Type of reaching we got going on here. Like, yeah. Lecrae got a record label called Reach Records. They might want to listen to some of his earlier music and get inspired. Yeah, this is
so. As the saying goes, "Master's gone, be mad." We here talking about Jesus. Yeah, I don't know what that has to do with what we're talking about.
Right.
We're showing you primary sources from ancient Kemet that debunks the claim that people use about Kemet. Yeah. Kemet itself disagrees with the connection with Jesus and Horus. It's not the Christians. It's not the Christians.
No.
It's ISIS. ISIS says otherwise. ISIS said, no, I received semen, homie.
Right. Don't do
no
that.
virgin birth here.
No.
I got knocked up.
I
by
enjoy
golden phallus from a dead guy.
Right. Some magic and all that. And that's what I'm saying. I'm like, why y'all even? They act like we started this. Hey, we didn't start this whole. No, you guys compared Horus to Jesus. For what reason? You guys got to let us know. We're just defending the fact that according to your original text and your original stones and hieroglyphs and meta-netures and everything else associated, there's no correlation between Horus and Jesus.
Right.
There's none. You can't say that the story of Horus is the foundation for the truth about Jesus Christ. You can't say the allegory of Horus or Heru is the foundation for the truth about Jesus Christ, the reality, the historical, actual, factual existence of Jesus Christ in history, first century history specifically, God in flesh, walking among us, dying, rising from the dead in 3 days. You can't. You just, it's a big reach.
It's a big reach. But one more time to summarize.
Yeah, that's just.
They say Jesus is a ripoff of Horus. We say which Horus?
Which one?
Right? They got to find a Horus.
They got to find
or make up a Frankenstein version of Horus. Cool. You say virgin birth comes from Horus. Isis says, I received semen. You say that we got the death, burial, resurrection from Horus. Horus either died by a scorpion or a snake, not a crucifix.
No.
Died or did not die and was poisoned.
Right.
And was either revivified or came back to life via magic.
Big magic.
So there's no connection.
Right.
Even with the word charis, it's not Christ. It means burial, not anointed.
Come on.
Anu is not a baptized. He's not John the Baptist. He's hanging out in cemeteries and bombing people.
Right, big dog.
John the Baptist is baptizing people, getting them ready for the Messiah.
Yeah.
So
it's cooked.
And we have another special guest.
Oh man, it's about to get good.
But before we get into MJ real quick, so with this, right, what I would like to share, and some of you have seen this, I have a Jesus is not Horus t-shirt for sale.
We gotta get this shirt. I gotta get this shirt. I gotta get this shirt.
I made it just for this video, right?
I'm doing it tonight.
So let me put the link. And it's on sale, by the way. It starts at $13, depending on what size you get, right? But not only can you get the t-shirt, right? You could get the coffee mug. You get the hoodie. You can get the laptop cover. You get the iPhone cover. You can get the baseball jersey.
I'm a hoodie and a coffee mug kind of guy.
Well,
so
there you go.
I'm getting those.
Not Jesus pack. You big.
You know what I mean? And here's the link right there.
Word.
You know what I mean? So just want to share that with y'all.
Man,
so ladies and gentlemen, you know, coming out the bullpen, ninth inning, MJ Jackson. What's going on, sir?
Oh, I was just enjoying it, and you know, like I said, y'all did all of the footwork, but I just want to point out, just like we pointed out last night, that there's a certain psychology behind all of this mess, and it comes out of that stolen legacy. Matter of fact, John Henrik Clarke himself pointed out that some of these honest European writers, you know, they were just being honest about the greatness of Africa and blah, 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 blah. So when he's quoting Massey and Graves and some of these enlightened Europeans, you know, they're really just quoting them because of the greatness of Africa. But the stolen legacy hypothesis says everything great, even Jesus, because we think white people love Jesus, came from Africa. And once again, it's really a exercise in raising low self-esteem. But ain't no low self-esteem over here.
No,
because we know who we are and we know whose we are.
Right.
And so we don't have to twist history to feel good about ourselves.
Preach it, sir.
These are facts, you know.
Big
and again, right? We did research. We went primary source. We showed you the stele.
Right.
We showed you the spell. We showed you different translations of the spell. We showed you different translations of the death or poisoning of baby Haru.
Come on.
Right? So what's up?
This is
big. So we're not afraid to have this conversation because when we look at Kemet disagrees with this accusation. Not the Christian. The people of ancient Kemet. Isis disagrees with this accusation.
Right.
She will tell you, I'm not no virgin fan.
Right.
I got knocked up.
No immaculate conception?
None.
No, this was not immaculate.
None.
And y'all get that wrong.
We don't believe in immaculate conception either.
Y'all get that wrong too.
Right. That's not even our belief.
That's not even our thing.
Right.
We don't claim that.
Esther Quasi. And this pointing to the wall. And this is the immaculate conception. They stole that too.
You can have that one.
Friends,
you can have that one.
The immaculate conception is about Mary, not Jesus. No.
Come on.
This comparison is old and been debunked. Exactly. Thank you.
Debunked.
All pro, all day.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you saw the beginning of the video. I said that.
Right.
This has been completely debunked years, way before any of us was doing what we're doing today.
Big debunk.
But certain people feel like we're scared to have this discussion. We're not.
We're not.
No. And we're not scared. Clearly, why we're not scared? Because the people in Kemet say otherwise.
Right.
So why should I be scared when ISIS says, no, fam, I'm not a virgin?
Yeah. And they're so pro the black woman is God. Not all of them, but they do that, right? And they just the divine status of the woman. I'm just put like this. Yo, okay, you care about the woman so much. Stop disrespecting the goddess in your hierarchy of gods and goddesses. Right. Stop disrespecting her by comparing her to a mortal woman.
Good point.
Mary's a mortal woman.
And they're calling the goddess a liar.
Come on.
Because she's not saying that she's a virgin. You're saying that.
You're saying that. This Isaiah, our prophet, in the Old Testament, prophesied about this happening. That you want to see where we got our story from. We didn't have to get a story from anywhere. It was a prophecy 500 years before Jesus showed up that a virgin would conceive a son. It's so our stuff is self-contained. We didn't need ISIS, and ISIS don't want us to need her. Let ISIS be ISIS and let Horus be Horus. Let them exist as they are. Like, let the allegories and the mythology, let them exist as they are. Don't try to, come on.
Did Charlton Heston debunk this? It's been debunked, D. That's what I'm saying, fam. This is old news.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks a lot, sis. Definitely appreciate it. And please share that video, please. Definitely appreciate that. This is old news. It's 2021, and we still got to show people that Jesus is not a ripoff of Horus. It's sad. It's sad.
Big sad energy.
It's sad. You know?
It's almost like what Jadakiss did to Dipset the other night.
We had to do it.
We had to do it.
Like, bro, we don't rap over vocals over here.
We don't rap over vocals. No, bro.
We don't rap over vocals here.
What we doing here? What we doing?
What are we doing here?
What we doing here?
You from Miami, fam. We in the
You live in Miami.
Oh man.
Oh,
don't y'all be hating on rappers from the South. Come on now.
Nah. We got love for the South, bro.
We got love for the South. It's just, you from the East Coast and move to the South, man, and rap it. It's okay. It's people move, man. Just keep that energy. Just keep the energy that you move with.
It says here, I hope we can finally get an apology from Bill Mayer for Jesus Mithras. Yeah, I wouldn't hold my breath. Because even with that, right? Which Mithras? There's two different religions,
right,
that follow a god called Mithras. The Persian Mithras is not the same as the Greco-Roman Mithras.
No.
So which religion are we talking about? And then whatever Christianese you hear in their text comes way after the scriptures were written down.
Right.
So I can actually make a more persuasive argument that Mithras bodied Jesus.
Oops.
So
we just got to do a segment called Bodied and then just put all these things together. Just bodied and then just show them the bodies. Like, this is not that, bro.
So again, nobody was running from this discussion.
No.
Clearly.
With Mithras, didn't his mama get pregnant by like an almond tree seed or something like that?
Mithras came from a rock.
A rock, oh, big rock energy. Come on, man, it's weird. Like,
came out of a rock. I don't know how that's a virgin birth.
I don't, bro. That's some stuff.
It's miraculous.
At least Isis got knocked out by a golden phallus. So, something similar to actual intercourse.
Right.
Homie came out of a rock.
That's a man. That sheesh.
So it's not good. It's not good, guys.
Yeah.
So one more time before we're gone. When someone says Jesus is a ripoff of Horus, you say, which Horus? There's like 10 of them scattered throughout the different kingdoms. And then if they say, well, baby Horus, cool. Which one? There's about 4 of those. Right? Then they say, oh, well, the virgin birth comes from Horus. We say Isis received semen. Well, Horus died from a scorpion bite or was poisoned and was brought back to life and or healed by magic. Does that sound like the crucifixion to you? It's that simple, guys.
It's that simple.
All we got to do is look at what the primaries say and then compare it to what the gospel says. There's no connection outside of the fact that they were both children at one point. I give you that.
At one point.
At one point, they were children.
They were children. Wow. That's a strong point.
Somebody
give you that. They were both children.
Go ahead.
And they had some adversity.
Yeah, man.
I'll give you that too.
That's deep. Like, I feel like they could compare my birth to Horus too. I was a child at one point. I didn't get bit by a scorpion. I got bit by a dog crossing the street.
Oh man!
I went through some adversity. I howled.
Did Isis give you a spell? And
my mom's name is I'm not gonna say it online, but yeah, I didn't get no spell. I got some medicine though. Look, it's similar. It's really similar.
If you squint your eyes, you
can almost see it. You can almost see how similar the story.
It's magic.
Ain't that a song? It's magic.
Yep.
Yo, I can't.
At the Cyber City Apologetics Conference, when I was going through the parallels, I showed that picture of the the Madonna and the child. Yeah. And then, of course, to disprove my own existence, I showed a picture of my mom holding me.
Wow, bro. Wow.
So you're a ripoff of Horus too, bro.
You came direct. Wow.
You're baby Heru.
Yeah.
Big baby Heru.
MJ Heru.
That's a W for Nile Valley mythicism all day.
Yeah. We all came from
the
Nile, man. Just all came from the Nile.
So again, I think we made it very clear.
Yeah.
Right? It's again, we didn't do anything. All we did was direct you back to Kemet. That's it. That's all we did. We let Isis speak. We let the coffin text speak.
Right.
We let the stele, the things written in stone. We could trust what's written in stone in Kemet. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So here we are. So with that being said, MJ, you're gonna have a very busy couple of days. So let the people know how you got this.
Once again, if you've been following all of the craziness that's been going on for the last few weeks, me and Chris Brian Samuel will be having a talk about the Dr. Vodi Balcom situation. We're also going to be hosting Saturday morning. We're also going to be hosting Dr. Joel McDermott on our channel. And we're going to have a discussion about an article that Greg Kokel wrote, because it seems like the greatest of philosophical and theological and some of the greatest minds and apologetics are losing their mind when it comes to CRT and just social justice issues in particular. I have absolutely no idea what's going on, but we're going to talk about it because I don't know. But and then at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time, going to be having Brother Brandon Cleaver and also Mr. also a carpenter, Bradley Mason, coming on the channel to talk about CRT. And look, here's the thing. I'm a firm believer that the church, since the days where we broke away and from slavery, and since the days we formed our own institutions, the Black church, who are the originators of what it means to be conscious and woke, we've been putting out material. You got Oneness Embrace, you got the Kingdom Agenda, you got Black Church and Power, back there, Woke Church by Dr. Eric Mason. I got many more sources.
You said flex.
We really don't need CRT. But here's my issue. If you're going to talk about it, and I'm a firm believer that if you have the truth, you can do like my man BK and Pierre did tonight. You could come on here, you could read from the sources, still man the sources, and then refute it. Because if you have the truth, you have nothing to be afraid of. You don't have to misrepresent sources. So what we're going to be doing tomorrow with Mr. Bradley Mason is we're going to look at the sources. We're going to look at the merits of it, and where it disagrees with the biblical worldview, hey, fine. But you don't have to get so caught up into partisan politics where you start arguing like a person on either side of the aisle, where you start slinging egg and mud and all that type of stuff. So that's going to be my weekend.
Yeah, CRT is not one of the essentials of the faith. Just so we're clear. No, you know what I mean. And MJ has done an amazing job providing a biblical apologetic for social justice. Right? We don't need CRT. We have God. God is a God of justice.
Come on.
We are made in his image. We are the Imago Dei. We are the Salem of Yahweh.
Come on.
And we are to participate in the divine nature by being like our image, which is Yahweh. Yahweh is about justice. Therefore, his imagers should also be about justice. That's all we're saying.
Big preach energy. Come on. That's a word. That's a word.
You know what I mean? But Mr. Ninja for Jesus, what can we be expecting from you in the immediate future?
Yeah, I'm on this activation tour, just helping believers just realize their identity in Christ through the Holy Spirit. So immediate future, preaching on Sunday. So I'll be posting clips from that.
Nice.
Then I got a couple shows coming up the week after. So I'm just going to be showcasing what does it look like just to be going out doing the Ninja for Jesus, giving people behind the scenes look at just the things that God has me doing locally in the community, and as I travel, just preaching and rapping for Jesus. We got some more apologetic material coming that I'm working on. So yes, just stay live. Ninja for Jesus, #4 Jesus. My Instagram, that's where everything goes to Instagram first. So just follow me on Ninja for Jesus. That's the #4. If you haven't already, I'll follow back, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun time, fun season, really good season.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So that being said, MJ Jackson, Ninja for Jesus, and BK signing off. Peace.